If I have seen fervor, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. I do not know what I may appear to the world, but to myself I seem to have been only like a boy playing on the seashore and diverting myself in now and then finding a smoother pebble or a prettier shell than ordinary whilst the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before me. I can calculate the motion of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people. Nature is pleased with simplicity, and nature is no dummy. What we know is a drop. What we don't know is an ocean. Tact is the knack of making a point without making an enemy. Gravity explains the motions of the planets, but it cannot explain who sets the planets in motion. Truth is ever to be found in the simplicity and not in the multiplicity and confusion of things. No great discovery was ever made without a bold guess. A man may imagine things that are false, but he can only understand things that are true. This most beautiful system of the sun, planets, and comets could only proceed from the council of dominion of an intelligent and powerful being. This being governs all things not as the soul of the world, but as Lord over all, and on account of his dominion, he is wont to be called Lord God, or universal ruler. If I have ever made any valuable discoveries, it has been due more to patient attention than to any other talent. He who thinks half-heartedly will not believe in God, but he who really thinks has to believe in God. What goes up must come down, and to every action there is always an equal and opposite and contrary reaction. Live your life as an exclamation rather than an explanation. You have to make the rules, not follow them. To myself, I am only a child playing on the beach, while vast oceans of truth lie undiscovered before me. Tact is the art of making a point without making an enemy. Trials are medicines which our gracious and wise physician prescribes because we need them, and he proportions with the frequency and the weight of them to what the case requires. Let us trust his skill and thank him for his perception. If I have seen fervor than others, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants. How came the bodies of animals to be contrived with so much art, and for what ends, where there are several parts? Was the eye contrived without skill in optics, and the ear without knowledge of sounds? And these things beings are rightly dispatched, does it not appear from phenomena, blah, 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 that there is a being real, living, intelligent? To explain all nature is too difficult, a task for any one man or even for any one age. 'Tis much better to do a little with certainty than and leave the rest for others that come after than to explain all things by conjecture without making sure of anything. God without dominion, providence, and final causes is nothing else but fate and nature, blind metaphysical necessity, which is certainly the same always and everywhere. Could produce no variety of things, all that diversity of natural things which we find suited to different times and places could arise from nothing but the ideas and will of a being necessarily existent. Patriots, my friend Plato is my friend Aristotle is my friend, but my greatest friend is truth, whence arises all that order and beauty we see in the world. If I have been able to see fervor, it was only because I stood on the shoulders of giants. To explain all nature is too difficult a task for any one man or even for any one age. I have studied these things. You have not. about the times of the end. The body of men will be raised up, who will turn their attention to the prophecies and insist upon their literal interpretations. In the midst of much clamor and opposition, yet one thing secures us whatever betide. The scriptures assures us that the Lord will provide. In the absence of any other proof, the thumb alone would convince me of God's existence. Truth is the offspring of silence and meditation. I keep the subject constantly before me and wait till the first drawn upon slowly by little and into a full and clear light. What declares, what Descartes did was a good step. You have added much several ways, and especially in taking the colors of thin plates into philosophical consideration. If I have seen a little further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. God, who gave animals self-motion beyond our understanding, is without doubt able to implant other principles of motion in bodies. We may understand as little. Some would readily grant this may be a spiritual one, yet a mechanical one might be shown. Did not I think it better to pass it by? If others would think as hard as I did, then they would get similar results. This principle of nature being very remote from the conceptions of philosophers, I forbore to describe it in that book, lest least I should be accounted an extravagant, a freak, and so prejudice my readers against all those things which were the main design of the book. To every action there is always opposed and equal reaction. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. A man may imagine things that are false, but he can only understand things that are true. For if the things be false, the apprehension of them is not understanding. I can calculate the motion of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people. The more time and devotion one spends in the worship of false gods, the less he is able to spend in that of the true one. They who search after philosophers' stone are by their own rules obliged to a strict and religious life. If I have done great things, it's because I was standing in the closet of smart men taking notes and then publishing their ideas as my own. As a blind man has no idea of colors, so have we no idea of the manner by which the all-wise God perceives and understands all things. Opposite to godliness is atheism and profession and idolatry and practice. Atheism is so senseless and odious to mankind that it never had many professors. Can it be by accident that all birds, beasts, and men have their right side and left side alike shaped, except in their bowels, and just two eyes and no more on either side of the face, and just two ears on either side of the head, and a nose with two holes and no more between the eyes, and one mouth under the nose, and either two forelegs or two wings or two arms on the shoulders, and two legs on the hips, on one on either side, and no more. Whence arises this uniformity in all their outward shapes, but from the counsel and contrivance of an author. Whence is it that the eyes of all sorts of living creatures are transparent, members in the body having on the outside and hard, a transparent skin, and within transparent juices with a crystalline lens in the middle, and a pupil before a lens, all of them so truly shaped and fitted for vision that no artist can mend them. Did blind chance know that there was light in what was its refraction, and fit the eyes of all creatures after the most curious manner to make use of it? These and such like considerations always have and ever will prevail with mankind to believe that there is a being who made all things and has all things in his power, and who is therefore to be feared. Gravity explains the motions of the planets, but it cannot explain who set the planets in motions. For I see that not what there is desirable in public esteem, where I able to acquire and maintain it, it would perhaps increase my acquaintance, the fame which I chiefly study to decline. If I have seen farther than others, it is because I was standing on the shoulders of giants. This most elegant system of the sun, planets, and comets could not have arisen without the design and dominion of an intelligent, powerful being. 'Tis much better to do a little with certainty and leave the rest for others that come after than to explain all things by conjecture without making sure of anything. When we know what we know is a drop, what we don't know is an ocean. Atheism is so senseless. When I look at the solar system, I see the Earth at the right distance from the sun to receive the proper amounts of heat and light. This did not happen by chance. Wrapping in the trance that one body should act upon another through a vacuum without the mediation of anything else is so great an absurdity that no man suited to do science can ever fall into it. Gravity must be caused by an agent, but whether that agent be material or immaterial, I leave to my readers of my lyrics, my infinite spitter of Isaac Newton, my infinite Isaac Newton spit, the rapper.